Hey guys, what it do? Well, I hope you guys like my new working station, you know what I'm saying? I got a couch in the bedroom now, you know what I'm saying? So it can turn into a real studio, you know what I'm saying? So today I want to talk about a character, a very polarizing character. I think the best character in My Hero Academia. Not my favorite character. My favorite character is Bakugo. I love Bakugo. Big fan of Bakugo. Sasuke archetype. And those are usually my favorite type of characters. A bit dark, a bit broody, a bit angry. Very dissimilar to myself. But I just have an infatuation with those type of characters. Obito, that kid, you know, initially very happy though. But I just like characters with a slight dark edge to it. It just gives them more pizzazz and personality. To be fair, it's not always my favorite type of character. Beast Boy is my favorite character in Teen Titans. He's not super dark and broody. He's actually super happy and very funny. You know, Raven is dark and broody. I do love Raven. So there's a balance. Yeah, so, you know, I watched a video about a week ago, maybe 2 weeks ago. I was away for a bit, and I watched the video, and the guy was talking about why Deku is the better hero and is more deserving of All for One. One for all, all for one, one for all. Yeah, one for all. Than Mirio. So I watched this video and I was pretty compelled. I was like, damn, I didn't realize that happened because I wasn't that far into season 4 yet, and I was like, oh damn, that's a bit of a bummer, bro. Now I did know that the manga was far ahead of that, and I didn't want to watch the video and then, you know, because he did mention that he was talking about the manga. I didn't want to watch the video, the anime, and then it turns out, oh, there's some slight misinformation, you know, because I know that this one it supposedly follows the manga to the T, My Hero Academia, that is, but I just wasn't 100% sure, and I didn't want to go watch that, and next thing, you know, disagree with him and not really have the full scope of the facts because I did not read the manga. And that's the source material. So I went and read the manga. Because I was really interested. I was like, I just met Mirio in season 4 and I was like, damn, this guy's fucking phenomenal. Also watched Nox Taco's video of him saying that, yeah, 10,000%, because he reads the manga, 10,000%, you know, Mirio deserved All for One. Or One for All, sorry, One for All. So it was like, damn, you know, I was like, and I really like Nox Taco, by the way. So I was like, okay, what do I do? I want to make up my mind, but both of these guys are giving me very compelling arguments. And the deciding factor for the other person, I can't remember the name, I don't really watch the videos, so my apologies, but I did watch that one just because I was like, somebody disagreed with this opinion? Wow, this is crazy. So I watched it, and I liked the video. It's a very good video. He says that there was a scene where the little girl runs up to Deku and holding on to his leg, and is like, oh my god, you know, like, she's clearly in distraught, clearly being abused, etc., etc. She got bandages, all type of shit. But Mirio stays smiling and contained, and just like, he sees what's happening, but he also recognizes that that's the person they're looking for, and they don't have any proof to get him, and they know that whatever they can get from the little girl probably won't be sufficient for them to topple the whole organization. Now, the guy in the video, he made a very good argument. He was saying that, well, if you know, if it wasn't for Mirio, Deku would have saved the girl, and the villain's plans would have been completely toppled. And, you know, as we later discover that, you know, the villain, like, without the girl, the villain's plan couldn't possibly have worked. And that's where I kind of started to realize, when I read the manga, I realized the flaw in his argument. And the flaw is, he's talking about information that the characters Deku and Mirio do not have. This is very important. When a character makes a decision, right, in any form of, you know, narrative, it should only be based upon what they know what information the character knows, not the information the reader knows, right? Sometimes it can be frustrating to see a character mess up because you know the information and you're like, ah, damn it, I wish if only he knew. But the fact is, they don't. And because they don't, you can't shame the character for not doing something because they had no information whatsoever. Now, Mirio follows Night Owl, I think Night, Thing's ex student. I'm not great with my hero names, to be honest. But this he used to be All Might's student, and he basically, he can see the future essentially, right? If he touches you or whatever, he can see outcomes or whatever, and try to figure out how to, change that, or follow or make sure that outcome happens. So essentially, what ended up happening is that, Night Owl. Forgive me if I'm saying the wrong name. I'm just gonna call him Night Owl if that's okay. Night guy, the night guy, the predictor, right? Right. The predictor. He essentially, quote unquote, predicted wrong. Not really predicted wrong, but his plan wasn't foolproof or whatever. At least according to this man's argument. So then I sat down and I was thinking. Now, after reading that spot and reading a few chapters ahead as well, I was thinking. I was like, wait a minute. So, okay, yes, a little girl is being tortured, right? But problem A, you do not know the villain's powers, right? You don't know his quirks. His quirks could be anything, right? First of all, if he had touched Deku, Deku's dead. We do not know if Deku's faster than him. Now, we can, guess that. Maybe in later chapters he definitely is, but you have to base it off if you, the characters, you do not know this information, right? Let's say you Deku and you're Mirio, specifically Mirio. And this actually, to me, this whole scenario proves to me that Mirio should be the one with the powers, to be honest. And I'll explain why in a few minutes. Okay, so think about it this way. Just picture it, right? These two young heroes, essentially rookies, right? One is better than a pro already, but he's still technically, a semi-pro, right? And he's tutored to be better than pros, right? And you're in a situation. Now, you're the young, hothead, future all-star, right? You're the future LeBron James, future Michael Jordan, and this guy is maybe Magic Johnson or some shit, right? He's already balling. And, so what happens is you have a situation, right, where a villain that you've been looking at, that they're doing some shit, right? Runs the Yakuza. He is out here doing something that you guys have been investigating for a very, very long time. Now, you can blow the whole investigation, right? And not figure out what he was trying to do by taking this little girl, right? Or, or by attacking him or by whatever. Now, problem one, he's a top tier villain. Chances are he might be capable of killing both of you on the spot. And even if he's not, let's say you're Mirio, you're thinking, I have to protect the girl, I have to protect Deku, I have to protect the citizens around the place, because the citizens, they're in public, citizens around the place, and I have to try to protect myself. It's not in his favor, right? It's not in his favor. If this was in a spot area that was completely free and devoid of people, he could, consider trying to grab Deku and the little girl and escaping with the two of them, right? But we also don't know if his powers work on other people. If he can drag another people to the ground, for example, a different person to the on the ground, and then bounce out himself and leave that person trapped, or that person bounces out as well, etc., etc. We don't really know that. Well, at this stage, anyway. I don't know if later on this is explained. I am not that far. Please let me know if it is. But again, in this moment, at this part of the story, at this time, we do not have this information ourselves. Yeah, so I'm pretty sure the characters definitely don't either, right? So which we can say that they do, sure, right? But just for the sake of it, I'm assuming they don't, right? So he's unaware. Essentially, the point is that he's not positive he'd be able to do this, right? So he's taught at the scenario. He knows the situation. The girl's in trouble. Something wrong, fishy going on here. But if we do something here, it's going to blow the cover and potentially ruin the investigation, which could lead to a much bigger problem. Because again, they don't know this guy's plan. They don't know if he found a little girl. They don't know any this information. And we do know later that they do find out that it does, or we know, at least the readers know later, that it definitely does. But the fact is, the heroes do not. And so the best decision to make at that moment is not interfere. The best decision was to continue onwards, right? Because by interfering, you don't know if that little girl's gonna get tortured more, if anything's gonna happen. You don't know if she's expendable. You have no idea why they have her, right? Yes, they're looking for her, but again, you don't know why. Could it actually just be his daughter and he's trying to manipulate her to an evil? Could it be one of his henchmen's daughters? Could it just be that she has this power that, they're trying to harness? You have no idea. You can only extrapolate and guess all these hypotheticals. Right now, Deku doesn't even consider none of that shit. And he's just like, boom, I want to say, I'm going to save the little girl or whatever. Now, and the guy in the video also argued that, well, All Might would have took the girl no matter what and figure out how to do everything after. And that made me start considering that maybe Mirio is a better candidate than even All Might. Because that would have been a poor decision. Because All Might wouldn't be prime All Might at the time, right? You have to consider Deku's stage of power whilst he's trying to make that decision. He's only at like 20% or some shit like that, right? He's not 100% All Might, where All Might is so powerful that he can afford to be careless. Mirio's powers do not afford carelessness whatsoever. So it's within his nature and within the best interest to his mission and himself and to the people around him for him to not be reckless. His powers are very, very precise powers that needs very precise work, right? And because of the nature of his power and the nature of the situation, it's a very, very tense situation that you don't wanna bring a fucking hammer to a surgery. You know what I'm saying? It's a very delicate situation, and because of that, Mirio thinks through all the scenarios. At least by the way he reacts, it seems this way. He thinks through all the scenarios and decides that the best course of action, it was the best course of action given the information they knew. If they knew information that this is the girl pivotal to these guys' plans, it might have been worth risking a few lives around the place, right? Because the guy's argument in the video again was like, he's letting a little girl get tortured. Boy, people around could die. We don't know this motherfucker's powers. It could be fireball jutsus, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, how do you know? Like, he just drops a big ass fireball. What powers do any of these motherfuckers have to stop a big ass fireball? They dodge it. Some motherfuckers burning down in the streets with a baby. That was worth the little girl. You know what I'm saying? You also got to consider, there's so many things they didn't consider, like, at all within that video when they made their argument. And just by reading it, I was like, bruh, like, this motherfucker's crazy. Mirio's, if he's saying All Might would have done that damn decision at the level of power that Deku was in, then goddamn it, Mirio's a better candidate than All Might himself. You know what I'm saying? Like, honestly, at this point, you know what I'm saying? Because he thinks, and it's great being heroic and shit and being the symbol of peace. A symbol of peace is much more effective, right? Much more effective if they are, analytical. And Mirio showed analytical precision in that moment. You know what I'm saying? You weigh your options, you think about circumstances, and then you decide. Deku did not. He just thought, save the girl. What if they chase you through town? Casualties. No thought process. Gotta save the girl. You know what I'm saying? And then who's gonna have to deal with that problem? Mirio. Who's gonna have to try to save Deku if Deku's in trouble? Mirio. Who's gonna have to try to keep the girl safe at the same time? Mirio. Who's gonna have to also watch out for every civilian out in this bitch? Mirio. Who's also gonna have to really fight the big baddie that's chasing them with powers and quirks? They ain't no Mirio. You gotta consider your option. If Mirio had All Might's power at that time, all of that shit, then he could comfortably be confident that I can take care of fighting them and saving everybody simultaneously. And that's the key thing. That is the key thing. And that is my argument as to why Mirio might even be a better candidate than All Might himself was, to be honest. And I still stand with the firm ideology that Mirio is the superior character. Now, if later on it's proven otherwise, I'm willing to accept that argument, whatever arguments come next. But just beware, don't spoil it for me. I will be catching up. I spoiled myself just by watching that video, but I was just so shocked that somebody thought that Deku's actually better than Mirio. It's ludicrous. Nah, to be fair, it's okay to think that. I think it's fine to think that, just as a personal opinion or whatever. But if you do give it and I have debunks, I will try to debunk it. And if you have debunks for mine, please do. But again, just within the containment of that part of the story. Please do not go beyond that part of the story. Just within the containment and confinement of everything prior to that, from the start of the show to up to where I talked about. That's the only parts I know, and therefore, based off that information, Mirio is a better candidate. And again, might be the better candidate over even All Might. And that's my opinion. But I think I debunked the other guy's video pretty well too. Anyways, be the boy Supreme Cheer to God. Let me know what you think. I think Nux Taco will be proud. I'm out. Peace.